Yo, what's going on YouTube? It's your boy Kai checking in with another video, and today we got Swamp Stories, 10 most dangerous cities of 2022 and the safest two. Let's go on and see what cities are bad, dangerous, and the safest.
Welcome back to another episode of Swamp Story.
Before we get into it, so he's saying cities, I'm gonna say cities, I'm gonna go New Orleans, I'm gonna go Philly, I'm gonna go LA, I'm gonna go Baltimore, I'm gonna go Chicago, dangerous, maybe Fort Worth, I can't think of four more, cause I'm trying to think around the whole United States. But it might not be United States. He might be just talking about the world.
For this video, we cover the 10 most dangerous cities of 2022. As we all know, since 2020, it seems like all cities have gotten worse. 2019 was America's safest year in decades, but since then, it's been all bad. Some say that it was EDD that contributed, and others say that it was the lack of in-person schooling. Regardless, the hope was that 2022...
bruh. No, for real. Like, hey, I don't think y'all understood what that shit did. Like, bro, I was seeing kids, like, that remote schooling, because that's when my son first went to school. My son first started school, it was remote. But y'all know how difficult that was for, like, parents to just, like, have your kids sitting on a tablet all day? And then kids not having nothing to do. Like, you had, bruh, I seen how was y'all flunking? I seen students flunk, and all you had to do was show up on a tablet. Could have been an iPad. Could have been, most of them was iPads. Like, my son, he had an iPad. Most of them was iPads. I'm like, bro, all you had to do was show up, or if you were older, like teenager, you just signing on your computer or phone. Bruh, y'all was flunking. I'm like, bruh, I would have loved to just wake up, been at home, chilling at home. All I gotta do is show up. And then I think they had school for...
Two would turn the corner in America. People went back to work, schools opened up, and the economy was back in shape. Kind of. Well, as all of the official numbers roll in, it's evident that overall things have gotten better. However, there are some exceptions. For example, states like Oregon and Louisiana saw their worst years to date. Meanwhile, in states like Minnesota and California, crime is all the way down. Now, before we get into the list, let me break down the criteria. For this video, we're focusing on homicide rates only because that's the epitome of danger. If a city has a lot of homicides, trust me, there's a lot of other things going on as well. So what is a homicide rate? I wish I didn't have to explain this, but here we are. It's the total number divided by the population times 100. This way, the rate is proportional to the population. So when you see that Chicago has 600, you think, oh my gosh, it must be the worst place ever. But what you don't consider is that the city has nearly 3 million residents. In reality, Chicago's rate of 17 per 100,000 is pretty standard for American cities. Chicago is not any worse than the average American city. Let me put the numbers in context. A very safe city will have a rate of 0 to 3. These are cities where violence is extremely uncommon. The vast majority of European and Asian cities stay within this range. Then a rate of 4 to 10 are moderately safe cities. Places like Seattle, San Francisco, and New York City stay within this range. Then we get to 11 to 20, and here is where things get serious. Chicago, Miami, and Jacksonville usually stay within this range. And next, from 21 to 30 is cause for serious concern. These are very dangerous. Cities like Houston, Oakland, and Las Vegas.
Okay, I said Fort Worth. I didn't say Houston, but Houston popped up in my mind. But I'm thinking, Houston dangerous? I mean, I know it's dangerous because I know, but I'm like, you got big booty women, food, strip clubs, fast money. I'm not thinking that it's. When I hear Fort Worth, I hear like just it ain't nothing to do there. That's what I mean. Like when I hear about Fort Worth, Texas, I hear about it's nothing to do there. Like they got nothing popping.
Typically stay within this range. And from here, anything above 30 is a ridiculous level of violence. The type of place where any family should be trying their best to leave. However, to put this into context, these rates are nothing
Take control of your career with ECPI University.
I needed the freedom of an online course where I could work at my own pace, and ECPI gave me that.
Compared to Mexican cities. For example, in 2022, Tijuana had a rate of 140 per 100,000. I mentioned that to convey that there is a huge discrepancy between safe and unsafe. However, just because a city is safe doesn't mean that a specific neighborhood can't be dangerous. In fact, nearly every city you go to has a rough part of town. So with all that being said, let's dive into our final lists of 2022. We start off on a positive note, the 5 safest cities in the United States. These are cities where homicides are rare and families can feel safe letting their kids play outside. So if you're from one of these cities, you're probably not from the trenches. Number 1, Sunnyvale, California. With a population of 152,000, Sunnyvale recorded 0 homicides in 2020.
That's why I need to move.
The city is also one of the wealthiest in the country with an average income of $161,000. Number 2, Irvine, California. With a
so everything's gonna be in California, bruh?
Population of 309,000, the Southern California city recorded only 1 homicide in 2022. This resulted in a rate of 0.29 per 100,000. Number 3, San Jose, California. Despite having over 1 million residents, San Jose reported only 32 homicides in 2022. This gives it a rate of 3.2 per 100,000. And with this number, San Jose is by far the safest big city in America. So if you're looking for a safe place to move, well, you probably can't afford it. And next is another city you probably can't afford. Number 4, New York City. For some reason, everyone thinks New York City is like Chicago. It's not at all, not even remotely close. In fact, New York City has been one of the safest cities in America for over a decade straight. In 2022, they had a total of 418 homicides. This results in a rate of 4.5 per 100,000. That's 5 times lower than Chicago and 8 times lower than Philadelphia.
But you gotta look at it too, like, bro, you talking about the whole New York City, like, bro, you talking about all 5 boroughs, right? Or are you only talking about like Manhattan? Because the way that these niggas is talking about niggas getting poked up on the train, niggas is getting taken down everywhere, like in the Bronx. It's more than 1 million people that live in the Bronx. And it's probably like more than 400 murders in the Bronx, just alone. Then you got Queens, Brooklyn on fire too, like.
I don't know where people came up with the notion that New York City is out of control because it's simply not true. Number 5, Inglewood, California. For whatever reason, Inglewood has a rough reputation, but it's actually one of the safest cities in the entire country. In 2022,
do not believe that. Do not believe that. Do not go to Inglewood and be Lollygagging. It's no.
Inglewood saw a total of 5 homicides. This gives it a
Well, he said out of 500. I mean, out of 100 people. Like,
rate of 4.7 per 100,000. In all honesty, Inglewood is just a safe suburb, but it's plagued by a bad reputation. And for whatever reason, some residents want to make it seem worse than it is.
My part of Inglewood is murder capital, so it's different over there. People usually get murdered there every night. That was my side. That was literally my next street. That's what walks up my foot.
Okay, now that we've covered the safest list, let's get into the most dangerous cities. Number 10, Kansas City, Missouri. In 2022, Kansas City had 169 homicides, resulting in a rate of 34 per 100,000. This came in as the second worst year in Kansas City history. I literally don't know anything about this place, and you guys probably don't either, so let's skip along. Number 9, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
oh, they on fire. Oh, I seen Philly Reddit. Oh yeah, stay the fuck away from Philly.
516 homicides.
Them niggas over there, stay the fuck away from
This
Philly.
gave Philadelphia a rate of 35 per 100,000. And as far as my research goes, Philadelphia has always been this bad. Both North and South Philly are known as two of the worst areas in the whole United States. Houses are run down, homeless are everywhere, and police are understaffed.
We're pulling some of our folks out of our administrative positions and going to deploy them out to some of those hotspot areas to focus on being visible.
What do you say to those who say they're unhappy about this move?
Well, listen, we're in a time that we've never seen before with having the amount of homicides that we've had in the city, the amount of shooting victims.
If you look at this interactive map, you can see that nowhere is safe.
That's
and
crazy.
Because of this,
No,
Philadelphia has an active map.
That's crazy. Nah, that's crazy.
You can see that nowhere is safe. And because of this, Philadelphia has seen the largest exodus since 1975. Over 25,000 residents have left in 2020.
For sure. Let me get the fuck out of here. What the? Bruh, y'all want to shoot up shit so bad? Go to war. Go get paid. Y'all jeopardizing everybody's life, everybody's livelihood, kids' livelihoods. Bruh, that's not cool, bruh. Not just Philly, I'm talking about anywhere, bro. Like, you got your mother trying to live somewhere. You got your father trying to live somewhere and try to make a way for y'all. And y'all destroying them, and y'all destroying the property line. Like, y'all making this shit, that shit not cool, bruh.
22. And interestingly enough, the biggest city they're moving to is next on this list. Number 8, Atlanta, Georgia. In last year's episode, I made a joke that over 80% of crime is solved in Atlanta and that they must be snitching. Crazy how it turned out to be true. Well, yes, snitching is a common occurrence in Atlanta, but so is violence. In 2022, Atlanta saw a rate of 42.5 per 100,000. That is extremely dangerous. Most people wouldn't expect this because of how nice it is, but my God.
Damn. I see why my baby mother say, hey, I don't want to go back to Atlanta. I see why.
Gosh, is it bad. Regardless, the pros outweigh the cons, and that's why it's still one of the fastest growing cities in America. Number 7, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Milwaukee?
Another unexpected city. But for locals, they've watched their city spiral out of control. In 2022, their rate was at 43 per 100,000. Milwaukee's police force has depleted, and this has led to many problems. In fact, it birthed a trend known as the Kia Boys. These are teenagers who have managed to hack Kias and steal them in under a minute. So in Milwaukee, there's a competition to steal Kias, drive them around, and dump them off for fun. So with all this crime, the city has become completely undesirable. The only thing going for it is the cheap cost of living in the business-friendly state of Wisconsin. Other than that, stay away. Number 6, Detroit, Michigan.
Yeah,
This is where the list gets serious. In 2022, Detroit had a rate of 50 per 100,000. And I know Detroit already has an awful reputation, so I don't want to make it worse. Despite the bad crime, Detroit is actually making a comeback. Investment is up and the downtown area is actually really nice. I may be delusional, but I think Detroit can be the Atlanta of the North. Number 5. Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Oh, yeah.
With a rate of 51 per 100,000, Baton Rouge is not a place you want to mess around in. It's a small city where everyone knows everyone, and this makes it even worse. People are leaving this city and the whole state of Louisiana as well. Interestingly enough, it's the only southern state that's lost population in 2022. Literally every other state has gained thousands in population. They're coming from the east and west coast for the low taxes and low cost of living. However, for Louisiana, they lost nearly 4% of their population. So I would highly advocate anyone to not move here, especially back.
I see why the basketball players say, "Hey, I'm out of here."
Baton Rouge. I've covered multiple rivalries in this city before, so if you want to see that, go check it out. Number 4, Baltimore, Maryland.
Oh man, yeah, I knew Baltimore was gonna be up there. And you know what's so crazy, bruh? Like, the downtown Baltimore area is beautiful, but that's it.
With a rate of 58 per 100,000, Baltimore is a place to avoid at all costs. First because of their atrocious accent, but then because of the danger.
Hey yo! Hey! Yo!
Krishan Rock happens to be from Baltimore, and that's all I have to say. On a serious note, the city is falling apart in front of our eyes. It's honestly the most depressing place.
It's been like that for years. Years. Before The Wire even came out, it been like that. Like, run down, which I don't understand.
You can go to, and if you don't believe me, go check it out. Sadly, this is another city that thousands of people have left in 2022. And that takes us to number 3, St. Louis, Missouri. By now, we all know about St. Louis. They've consistently been in the top 3 for over 20 years. And
They're saying it's a virus, some kind of parasite.
in 2022, they saw a typical rate of 65 per 100,000. St. Louis is really the bottom of the bottom. The weather sucks, there's no good jobs, and you have to watch your back everywhere you go. But on a positive note, it's not as bad as the small city across the river. East St. Louis would be number 1 on this list, but they don't qualify because of their population. Anyways, I've been trying to do a video on St. Louis for the longest, but nobody wants to share information. And that takes us to number 2, New Orleans, Louisiana.
I said New Orleans.
The Crescent City has a rate of 72 per 100,000 in 2022. New Orleans has 393,000 residents, but over 288 murders. In comparison, Los Angeles has 3.9 million residents and only 373 homicides. So with 10 times the population, Los Angeles barely had more than the tiny little city of New Orleans. How in the world is that possible? Like, what kind of issues can even lead to that? The craziest part is that over 60% of the crime occurs in one small area known as Eastern New Orleans. And what I found out is that no police officers want to work there. In fact, the New Orleans Police Department is sitting at under 50% of usual capacity. And because of this, it takes an average of 2.5 hours for police to respond to a call. No, I didn't make that up. It takes them 2.5 hours to respond to any call. Let me put this into perspective. In Seattle, the average response time is 7 minutes. And in Los Angeles, it's 20 minutes, which is bad enough. But 2.5 hours is a serious problem.
It's a problem.
2.5 hours for police to respond, bruh? I'm talking about for real emergencies, bro.
We started reporting on years ago with our call waiting investigation, and now it's getting worse than ever.
New data presented to the City Council today shows NOPD response times have tripled in the last 3 years as officers leave the force.
Yeah, Sam Winstrom has more on what the council is calling a public health crisis.
NOPD's response times have skyrocketed in the last 3 years, going from 51 minutes to 2.5 hours.
51 minutes is even bad.
Hours on average. In this month, it's taking nearly 3 hours for police to respond to a call. It's no surprise that as those times go up, the number of officers on the force has gone down.
So if you live in New Orleans, you should probably take protection into your own hands. And that takes us to the final number 1 spot. This one you would have never expected. Number 1, Birmingham, Alabama. Probably a place you forgot exists. Frankly, I did too. Well, somehow Birmingham ended with a rate of 73 per 100,000. That is insane. So I had to do some research. The per capita income of Birmingham is only $26,000 a year, and the
this is. I live in a major city, but when I see numbers like this, bruh.
The per capita income of Birmingham is only
26K? 26,000? And then the other number was 39?
$26,000 a year, and the average household income is only $39,000. This is a very poor city, but somehow the cost of living has increased by 21%, and this may be a big reason for the elevated levels of violence. But honestly, I don't know, so if you're from Alabama, please let me know. I tried finding rappers in Birmingham, but I couldn't find any. Instead, I found out that Mobile, Alabama has a huge music scene, but strangely enough, Mobile's rate is very low. So I guess that Birmingham is the trenches and Mobile is much nicer. I could be wrong, but numbers don't lie. That was the top 10 most dangerous cities of 2022. Do you guys live in any of these cities? If so, please let me know if you think this is accurate. Also, let us know what you think is the cause and how it can change. On that note, I hope that 2023 is a much better year than.
Nah, that's crazy. Hey, y'all be safe out here, brody. Like, y'all gotta be safe, man. Make sure y'all kids is taken care of and safe and active. If y'all parents watching this video, man, be active in y'all kids' life so these kids won't fall short to the streets, because it's enough of that, man. But I'm gonna see y'all in the next video. Peace.